Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley.
And I'm her daughter, Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Heidi and I want to welcome you to Open to Hope Conversations, the podcast.
We believe that the greatest gift you can give yourself after a loss is hope, using this moment to connect with others who have not only survived but thrived.
So let's get started. Welcome to the Open to Hope Show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Horsley, with my daughter and co-host,
Dr. Heidi Horsley.
Well, Heidi, with the death of Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant, we've received a lot of email connected with that. And one of the questions we're going to take today is from Susan. And Susan says that her sister was killed in an accident several years ago, and the death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna have really set me back. I'm having trouble sleeping and concentrating on my studies. Is this normal, and have you got any thoughts? Well, Susan, you're not alone, because we've been receiving other emails in this same connection. And we kind of call it a trigger, right, Heidi?
Absolutely. People's losses remind us of our own loss.
Mm-hmm. And with Susan losing her sister to an accident several years ago, we feel like we're getting better. We're supposed to be getting better. And what people don't understand is that sometimes the second year can be really tough. And Susan, it sounds like you're around in that second year. So this may have triggered you. There's so much when there's so much on the news about something, the kind of loss, it can trigger you to go back. But Heidi, I think it's important to talk about sibling loss too, because there's a normal reaction that Susan's having here, isn't there?
Yeah, I think sibling loss is very significant, and it's a big, huge loss because we are on this earth with our brothers and sisters. We take our journey with them. We expect to grow old with them, die with them. We expect them to be in our life for our whole life, or most of it. So it is a really significant loss when you lose a sibling. And I think that sometimes it's invalidated and it's minimized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Susan, from talking to Heidi, because I'm a bereaved parent of Scott, but Heidi lost her brother many years ago. How old were you, Heidi?
I was 20 when Scott died, and he was 17, as you know. And so it was a big, huge loss for me, and it basically turned my whole world upside down. I didn't know anybody that had lost a brother or sister, not one person. So my friends couldn't identify with me. They couldn't relate to me. They had never, ever had anything like that happen. So I felt very much alone at that point.
Do you remember anything about the second year around that time? I know you dropped out of college for a while, right?
I did. I dropped out of college for 3 years. First year I was in school, and then I dropped out. It's a hard time. It's hard to concentrate, like you said. It's hard to focus. It's hard to read. It's hard to do those kind of things that you once did, because you're constantly caught up in the fact that you had a brother that died, or how he died, or the way he died, and what is your life like now? So it's a really hard time to be focused in on school.
Yeah. So what we want to say, Susan, is normal. What you're experiencing, getting triggered by an event, is absolutely normal. But now the question is, okay, we've told you it's normal. Okay, what can we do about it? I mean, how can we help you? And there are things that you can do about it, right, Heidi?
Absolutely. I personally think one of the biggest things you can do is to get support and peer support. And you can go online on Facebook and join a sibling loss group, which is closed to anyone but siblings, or go to the Compassionate Friends. Find other people who have had a similar loss, because then you'll realize that much of what you're going through is normal, and you'll be able to have people that are further down the road help you.
And while you're looking online, you might try some other things. Physical exercise is important, isn't it, Heidi?
Yeah, physical exercise is very important. I think taking a walk, you and me are big walkers, Mom. Taking a walk is one of the best things you can do. And what is it? Only 20 minutes, 3 times a week? Wasn't that what the research shows?
Yes, absolutely. It can make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's not very much. So get out and move your body, walk, yoga, meditation, and restorative yoga is really good. Because you don't have to do that much in restorative yoga. You're just moving, you kind of just laying there on pillows, but it's moving your energy around.
Yeah, look at restorative yoga, or some maybe beginning classes. Even if you do yoga, you might want to do some lower key right now while you are having these kinds of issues. And that'll help you sleep. Probably is not a good time for you to drink caffeine in the evening, or alcohol or anything that can disrupt your sleep patterns. Because you said you're having trouble sleeping, and maybe you ought to look at exercise can help, and not drinking any caffeine drinks. And, I don't know if you have time if you're in school, but reading can be a mental renewal, or poetry, or just sayings or quotes.
Or listening to inspirational podcasts can help. And there's also podcasts out there about, like, we have a podcast. Sometimes it's hard to read, I think, after you've had a death. I had a hard time reading.
Yeah, and especially you're in school and you have obligations that you have to read.
Yeah.
You may have to take a break. You had to take a break, right, honey?
I did. I was lucky because I had that option. I mean, kids don't have that option, but I had the option of being able to drop out of school for a few years, and you might need to do that. And I think that's okay. You might need to, I got a job, and that's what I really needed to do at that point.
Mm-hmm. Well, another thing you might want to think about, and I don't know what your time frame is service. Because service can give you a real spiritual renewal, even if you just go work at a homeless shelter and serve dinner on Sunday or whatever. You might want to reach out and do something.
Yeah, we have in our neighborhood a doggy daycare, and you can actually go there and play with the dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's another thing. Look into animals are fantastic. Mm-hmm. And it may not be a time for you to get an animal and have to take care of an animal, but to go out to ask the SPCA or in your area or whatever if you can help walk dogs, or if there's some kind of, or you maybe even do a neighbor's dog. I'm sure there would be people that would love to have you walk their dogs or help you. But if you're having trouble with your own dog, this might be a time for you to ask other people to help you too. Just because you haven't needed help for a while, you may need to call in those resources that helped you originally, right, Heidi?
Absolutely. I think you need to ask, you need to let people help you and let people be there for you, just as you would them. Definitely.
And don't hesitate to go to your school guidance counselor, because they're trained in these kind of areas. Find a listening ear.
Right. I worked in a college counseling center at Loyola in New Orleans years ago when I lived there. And there, yes, every campus has a counseling services center, and definitely check yours out, because they're there for the students.
Mm-hmm. Don't minimize the fact that, say it's been 2 years ago and it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Wherever you are right now, you need to find peace. And I love that you've reached out to us today, and that's an important thing that you've done. And so take care of yourself, Susan, and you will be in our hearts and prayers.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you for helping us build awareness about sibling loss and the significance of it. And good luck to you on your journey.
And Heidi and I want to remind all of you that are watching this or listening that if you've lost hope, if you've lost a sibling, if you're feeling discouraged, please lean on ours until you find your own, and God bless.
I'm Dr. Heidi Horsley. You have been listening to Open to Hope, the podcast. You can follow Open to Hope on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To learn more, visit us at opentohope.com and go to Apple Podcasts to subscribe.
I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley. Join us again next week for another Open to Hope conversation, where we invite you to lean on our hope until you find your own.